Welcome to episode 6 of the Journal. I'm Paul Hunsrow, and Sean? Sean!
Dude, sorry I'm late. I was up all night building an exact replica of myself.
Why?
Well, my girlfriend told me I should work out, so I started bodybuilding.
Wow. Sean, really?
Yeah. Anyways, let's get straight to it. We have an awesome show lined up for you guys. Today we have stories ranging from a profile on Farley Flex to a street poet who does not compromise self-expression. Since I'm a little bit late, let's just jump right into the first story. This piece is produced by Andrew James and follows local Krumpers who are bringing awareness to the Krumping scene. Let's check it out.
That's cool.
My name is Ajamu Jamal Eversley, otherwise known as Rage. Now, Krump is a very, very aggressive form and a very spiritual dance. There's a lot of misconceptions around it. Krump actually has a deep meaning, and Krump is not a fad. Krump is actually, it's a legitimate dance style, and it's new. Krump stands for Kingdom, Radically Uplifting Mighty Praise. It originated in like a very troubled neighborhood, like in South Central Los Angeles, where there are real serious problems. It's a first generation of Krumpers. The general public doesn't understand us. They don't know what we're doing. They don't understand the meaning of an arm swing. They don't understand the meaning of a chest pop or a stomp. They just see a bunch of wild going crazy. Like, there actually is fundamentals to that. So what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do, like all the Krumpers, like, we're trying to maybe at least be able to have people understand us over time. I made the Facebook group with the intentions of uniting and spreading the Krump movement, basically called Toronto Krump. Check that out. That's basically what we have done to try to basically educate what real Krump is, not that corny stuff that you may see like Chris Brown do or whatever.
Early Krumpers back in 2002, when they first started to Krump, these were guys right off the street in LA that got shot, got stabbed, that were into the streets, and Krumping was a way that they used to express their anger into a dance, to release themselves. Now, it's come a long way, but when I Krump, I'm always fighting my sins. I like to rip stuff off me. I like to throw stuff. I like to break stuff.
If I don't like you, I'm gonna rip your face out. I'm gonna rip your neck, pull your guts, and kick you. And just get angry.
This guy's he's getting amped right now. This style has actually been able to allow me to relieve any stresses. It's allowed me to relieve any anger, or allow me to express myself, anger that I've had, that I have built up. Everyone has anger built up inside of them, and it's allowed me to have a spiritual connection with God, where you just forget everyone else that is around you, and it's just you and God. That's it. That's all you're worried about. Like, you're not worried about anyone else. Krump allows me to do that when I'm doing the movements, and that's just very powerful to me.
Dude, that was real talent.
You think that's impressive, man? Check this out. Every night in my dreams, I see you.
Dude, I don't think
I feel
you're going to go very far with the
you.
Canadian Idol judges with that one.
What are you talking about, man? I watch Canadian Idol every night. Farley Flex is my boy. He dedicates to charities. Man, I'd be his charity case. He put me on for sure.
All right, anyways, let's check out the next segment. It was produced by Mark Church on Canadian music entrepreneur Farley Flex. Don't do that again, man. That's terrible.
I'm gonna keep on singing
God,
for the
this
rest
is
of my
brutal.
life, cause I'm awesome.
This year, UNICEF launched their TAP project, which took place at the Keg Mansion in Toronto. The project invites customers to contribute $1 for water they would normally receive for free. That $1 equals clean drinking water for 40 children in less privileged countries. The event included endorsement from local celebrities like Ben Mulrooney, Michael Landsberg, and Canadian Idol judge Farley Flex. Farley is a veteran in the music industry and has undertaken many roles, from event promoter, record label operator, and artist manager, to name a few. He has reached celebrity status with his role in Canadian Idol, but never forgets his roots.
I was very interested in music as a young person through exposure from my older brother and sister, and my parents as well. And you know, obviously music is part of your social evolution as well. So as I started to meet people, and music was always a common denominator.
So I don't know, we just got to find sort of a buzzword.
And I always had, I think, a bit of an entrepreneurial bone in me, and the idea of getting involved on the business side was always like in the forefront of my mind.
But the passion that he conveys for something, whatever he's involved with, he has the ability to bring you in. Not just by what he says, but how he says it. Regardless of what it is he's talking about, you get a sense that he really loves what it is. He feels the passion and he embraces it, and you can't help but embrace him.
Hello.
Farley is currently managing up-and-coming singer Daniel Pineda. Under the guidance of Farley and his partners, his career in music seems very promising.
Days,
Yeah,
next week to work.
I'll find out tomorrow. Give him a buzz and we'll get him in the studio.
Awesome.
Daniel is a really talented young man. It's very rare to find somebody who's proficient in multiple genres of music, and in Daniel's case, he's an accomplished opera singer as well as a jazz performer. So we're really excited about, you know, creating an opera album, a pop album, and a jazz album, and introducing them to the marketplace in a pretty unique way. You watch the game last night?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that Farley is extremely enterprising. I think that he can also recognize talent. I think that he can cultivate talent. I think he's also very old school in the best sense of the word. I think he has a very clear sense of new media, but also is very attentive to the artists that he works for, the artists he promotes, the artists that he believes in.
Trying to get the eye level shot there, Mark.
After making a name for himself in the music industry, Farley was asked to be a judge on Canadian Idol. This role made him a local celebrity and helped him continue his passion for discovering new talent.
The overall experience was absolutely fascinating when you realize the wide gamut of people who not only enjoy singing but would like to become famous irrespective of talent. Well, you know, prior to Canadian Idol and being on TV to that extent, because I appeared in some of my artist videos and things like that, but in terms of the profile Canadian Idol's brought, it's certainly opened more opportunities for me to do more business with more people with less of a climb, so to speak.
What do you say? That the medium is the message, and the messenger is the message. I mean, look at Farley. He's a big, gregarious character who is passionate about, you know, what he's interested in, specifically UNICEF and helping youth, and he channels all of that energy and the fact that he's such a big person, he can take over a room, and he's so warm and so caring and so focused that you put it all together, and whatever he wants to accomplish, he tends to do.
What I like about pool, it's all about the angles, right?
Although Farley has achieved a lot in his career, he feels it's important to keep moving on to bigger and better things while growing his empire, but also growing as a person.
Always be a learner, right? You never know enough. You never know too much, certainly. Once you get to that point where you think you do, I don't think that's very healthy in terms of just growth as an individual. I think it's staying a sponge and understanding that there are people out there who have walked the path before you, and if you can seek them out and learn from them, you'll always grow.
I don't know, man. After seeing that piece, I'm pretty sure Farley Flex would have put me through on Canadian Idol.
Honestly, Sean, I'm going to have to go with no. He probably would have chosen someone like Candace Leca, who's actually coming up later on in the show. Candace recently played at the Opera House. You know who else played there, actually?
Who?
A band called Vulgar Manor. They've actually been together for about 18 months, making some pretty intense music. Our producer, Alex, actually just did a story on them, so let's check it out.
The name of our band is Vulgar Manor. Bardia plays guitar, I play the drums, Anthony plays bass, and Adam sings.
I don't know, I can describe what genres, like, I mean, I already went through, like, you know, punk rock and metal and, like, stuff like that. Yeah, I guess it would be, you know, kind of, you can go through that punk rock thing if you want, but, like, it's stuff we like playing. It's stuff that kind of just happened. Like, I would write a riff, Victor would write a riff, Adam would write some lyrics, and they just kind of, whatever sounded right for the mood of each specific song is kind of what we went through. So I don't think we ever thought about it in a broad range of what kind of music we play all together. It's just specific songs sound certain ways, and you know, some punk, some metal, something else.
We just throw all our influences together.
It's like a mishmash.
Punk influences,
metal influences used.
Just normal stuff that you think about during the day, you know, what upsets me about the world, right? You know, typical times, things you could just sing about that, you know, other people will sort of get some kind of reaction from, you know?
And it's really weird because some of the songs that I've written in the past, a situation or some kind of, you know, something happened later on in the future that I was able to relate to the music more, you know? It's pretty strange.
We met when I met him in grade 1, or younger than that. He like threw something at my head the first time, and I'm just like, who is this guy? And then we've been friends since about like grade 1, and then we met these guys. We met him in high school and him in high school, and then we just like started hanging out.
Yeah, but we were like always like the punk rockers of the school and stuff. It was easy, right? You know, just
Yeah.
like,
It was
you know, and so we just started like jamming and playing music. And so, I don't know, one day it was like, all right, so let's get a band going.
We were jamming out at a bar, Filthy McNasties, and we ended up coming up with about like 1,000 names on tissue paper. And this was just when it was just me and Barty in the beginning, making up some tunes, trying to get something to happen. So Vulgar Manor just popped out. I just thought that we were all, you know, obnoxious and, you know, we could all be vulgar at times. The Manor, we live on Forest Manor, so we just put 2 and 2 together and there we got 4.
I think we have different views on the whole performing thing. Like, I think it's hard. I think sometimes it's really difficult to find people you know or people that can help you out in any way. Not only just finding like a venue or a time to perform, but equipment or a way to get there. So, you know, I think it's difficult sometimes, but we've done it, you know, 4 or 5 times. Usually when it does happen, it's usually Adam or Victor who knows someone we can like maybe get a show through and stuff like that. And then that's usually, it's all about connections, so yeah.
When you see the crowd moving, you know, makes you want to move, makes you want to, you know, come back twice as hard as they can, so they could just keep raging more and more and more, you know?
He was very energetic persona, basically same way he is in real life. It's a lot of fun to be around him and to see him on stage. It's an exchange of energy.
If you come to the shows, we try to have some sort of demos or recordings ready for the shows, but you can get on MySpace as well, myspace.com/vulgarmanor, VULGARMANOR.
For what we have online already, it was a friend of ours who, you know, said, hey guys, you know, I'll help you get started. I'll give you guys, you know, some of my time and, you know, we can get you 3 recordings. So we went to his house and did it. And sometimes you luck out like that. So we'd love to get an album going, you know, but again, it's all about money. You gotta have the cash to do it, and, you know, none of us are in the situation where we could spare it.
Music is an amazing tool. It's used to create, connect, and entertain. It's been used for therapy to fight many symptoms, from physical to mental ailments. Our next story is produced by Johnny Dienstuber and tells us how music can help Alzheimer's patients. You'll never see karaoke the same way again.
Irreversible, progressive brain disease that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, and eventually even the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. Although there is no cure for Alzheimer's, music has been introduced as a therapy to help people who are suffering from the illness.
Since they have dementia, and if they hear a song that they used to know or they can, you know, kind of recognize, they sing along. And then they always say music works with everything, you know, no matter how depressed or how confused they are. Then you see them start tapping or clapping or singing to the song.
People with Alzheimer's remember something. It's usually the music that they used to sing and dance to when they were younger. So we always try to pick songs they know, and we always try to sing the same songs that we know that they love, because we know they don't remember from week to week what we sang. But if I see somebody singing along to something that I'm singing, then I'll do that song again. When I go to visit my mom and I'm not doing karaoke, everybody looks at me and notices and says, wow, are you gonna sing? And they're so hopeful. And I go, no, you have to wait until Monday. And I know they don't know what day of the week it is and what day of the week is Monday, but when they know that I'm not going to sing, they just look crestfallen. They just look so sad.
My husband is Vic, and he's been in long-term care for 7 months. Music is the universal language, and everybody feels music in their own way, and he certainly feels the music, especially 50s music that's really familiar to him. He's standing up and he's listening, and if you hold his hand, you'll feel that he's keeping an absolute identical beat to the music. So he feels it. It's something that moves through the body. It's like a vibration, really.
We have one resident in there. They just came in. She was in the dining room and they told her, "Oh, God is there." She's like, you know, she was really looking forward to it. She rushed her food, got to the room, changed, just looking forward to it. She's there now dancing, you know, so she likes the karaoke. And just that they have the words that she could sing to it, it's really good.
Alzheimer's doesn't get better. So there's no cure. What it is a way of keeping dementia and Alzheimer's patients engaged for as long as they are aware enough to stay engaged. Because this is not a disease that gets better. This is a disease that progresses. But it's a wonderful, wonderful way of keeping these patients engaged as long as we can.
Just to have the social aspect of their lives, not that because you have Alzheimer's, that you cannot participate in social life, you know. So just to give them a part of their life as well.
You can't sing the words to a song without feeling them, unless you're made of stone.
He's been here for 7 months now, and the one common denominator really that keeps him going really is music.
Even though there is no cure for Alzheimer's and dementia, the benefits of music therapy encourage doctors to believe that one day there will be.
Oh, hey Paul, man. You think you could rub my back a little bit?
No, dude.
Come on, man. I heard it last week.
Well, we have been friends for a long time, so I'm gonna stick with no.
Come on, man. I was playing some field hockey. I think I just tweaked it.
Maybe you're doing it wrong.
Doing what wrong?
Being an athlete, I guess.
I guess I should leave the sports to Brandon Barber, an up-and-coming athlete who seems to master just about every sport he plays. And most recently, he's going pro playing field hockey. Produced by his sister Lindsay Barber, here's Brandon's quest for gold.
Brandon Barber is an up-and-coming athlete. He always loved the sport of ice hockey, and it came as a bit of a surprise to him when in high school he was approached to play field hockey by Peter DeCruz, the head coach of the Toronto Field Hockey Club.
I first saw Brandon play when he was in grade 10, so I believe that would be 2005, when he was playing for Riverdale High School in the boys' annual field hockey championships. My first impression of Brandon was that he was clearly the best field hockey player at that tournament, but also he's a gifted natural athlete who could excel in any sport. And I felt if he chose field hockey as a sport, he had the potential to play for Canada's men's national field hockey program.
Brandon spent some time training with Peter and learning the differences between his usual ice hockey and the still new sport of field hockey. He joined the Toronto Field Hockey Club and earned MVP in his first tournament, regardless of the fact that his team didn't make the playoffs.
First tournament I played in was an indoor tournament where I was representing my hometown of Toronto, and we would play local cities from across Ontario. And my team was god-awful, but that actually helped me because I got to handle the ball a lot. So it was kind of good in that sense that I got a lot of experience.
First time I saw Brandon playing was a year and a half ago actually, at an indoor tournament. It's called the Scarborough Cup. It's a junior tournament, and he was playing in the under-19 group. I was there scouting for potential under-19 players for my outdoor provincial team, and I saw a lot of potential in Brandon. I remember going to his club coach and asking his club coach that I wanted him to play in the provincial outdoor team, and I was told to hold back a bit because he was in hockey, ice hockey. But yeah, he definitely, I saw a lot of potential.
Brandon did eventually join the Ontario team, and after that, things moved quickly for him. In a few months, he was heading to Vancouver to play in the Nationals with Team Ontario. Still new to the game, Brandon had his worries about playing the sport at a national scale.
My initial instinct was that I'm gonna look bad out there. I didn't really have a lot of confidence. I was just really focused on putting in my best effort and all that. I didn't look like I knew where I was for the most part on the field, kind of looking lost, but my coach Cassius really helped me out with that, telling me where to go every time, bringing me back to the drawing board and just showing me what's right, what's wrong. Elementary with me, which was needed, and that was good because all the time I was feeling like I didn't belong there because it was my first year and everything.
That tournament went very well for Brandon and was a fantastic learning experience. The team ended up winning the silver medal, which was a huge accomplishment. After the tournament came an even bigger test of his skill. He took part in the national tryouts where he gained a great appreciation for the game. During those tryouts, he learned that it didn't matter how long he'd been playing. What mattered was the effort he put into being the best that he could. Although it's been a short time, Brandon's skill in field hockey has improved immensely, and he has begun to feel much more comfortable with the game. He has slowly begun to gain confidence in his own abilities. Both of Brandon's coaches have very high hopes for his future in the sport.
He needs to keep practicing the skills, and I know he loves the sport. I can see he loves everything he does, so yeah, practice.
My impression of him is confirmed in terms of his potential when I first saw it 3 years ago. But I've now seen that he's got the qualities to be a world-class field hockey player. I expect if he focuses and trains that he can certainly achieve that. What I see for Brandon in the future as a men's national team player, he would have a chance to go to the Olympics because Canada's men's team has been successful over the last 30 years going to a number of Olympics. He's also got a chance to go play professionally in Europe or Australia. And I think, the potential that I see him is probably the best young player I've ever seen in Canada. He can reach that potential of being identified as a top world-class player, not just the best player in Canada.
Brandon was recently chosen by Quest for Gold as one of the top 15 athletes in Canada. No one knows for sure what the future has in store for him, but if that is any indication, Brandon could very well have a promising future in the sport of field hockey.
1,008, 1,009, 1,010. Okay. Whew. Over 1,000. Anyone can play sports, but I beg to see someone do another 1,000 bicep curls like I just did with a bad back and a bad ankle, and bad
Sean,
knee.
I don't believe that, and I'm gonna think that you started at 1,000.
Come on, man. You're sitting right there. You're just making me look bad now. You know my girlfriend's watching the show. I told her I was gonna lose some weight.
Well, if you actually want to be able to do 1,000 reps and not be a liar like this guy, you should head over to see Chris White. He's a professional bodybuilder and personal trainer. In our next story, produced by Jen Thiffault, we take a look at actually what goes into building some serious muscle. So let's check it out. Come on, dude. You should go check him out.
No, I'm good.
Wanting to know how to get fit and stay in shape for this summer, I went to bodybuilder and personal trainer Chris White.
I'm a personal trainer at Markville Fitness. I've been training for a number of years, and I've also been doing bodybuilding for a number of years. I went to Aruba to compete at CAC Games and came in second for the overall. When you go on a stage where you are competing against guys from 16 different countries, it's always a good thing when you focus and start your diet, and the end result of it is quite impressive.
I mean, anybody can pick up 400 or 500 pounds. The question is, do you want to hurt yourself, and do you get anything out of it? All right? If you're not strong enough to do it, it's no sense in doing it.
If you are not training for a competition, it's very hard to maintain muscle mass. Your bone density and your muscle mass decreases. You have to have a regimen within your system such as a cardio workout. That will in turn keep your cardiovascular system, your breathing, your heart rate going. Now, with your muscular system, you have to do some strenuous exercise. Push-ups, your sit-ups, your lunges, your body squats to maintain muscle tone. And if you want to maintain extreme body tone and strength, what you do, you get into the weights, such as the free weights or the machines. That will enable you to maintain the muscle tone and mass that you along with your nutrition that you want to acquire.
Another piece of equipment that we're going to use in our arsenal for the back. It's long pulley rows, an excellent mid to lower back builder, and it also strengthens the whole shoulders and the upper back.
My client, Chris Populus, he's lost 60 pounds within the last year or so. He's doing a great job maintaining his muscle tone. His body fat has dropped and muscle tone has increased. a tremendous amount.
The biggest surprise for me is when you're doing the weight training and the circuit training the way he designs it. It's an incredible cardio workout, as well as getting, the muscles in shape. So people that think they can come in, just lift weights and they don't need to do cardio, if he incorporates the right workout, it can be incorporated all into one, and it's pretty exhausting.
I have most of my clients for the day. They come in from say 8 until say 1, 2. But I normally start my day at 5 o'clock in the morning. Get my clients in, and it's a long day.
When you're working out, it relieves a lot of stress also, because throughout the day we all have ups, downs, and a lot of stress in our life. But once you come in the gym, you learn to relieve the stress, and it will get you to your goal.
It's all about a day's work.
Bodybuilding isn't everything, but it's a good start.
We still have lots more in store. Coming up, a performance from singer-songwriter Candace Leca. But first, our next story is for all of those who have faced adversity head-on. Mike Miranda faced racism and prejudice when entering into university. He found a way to overcome his difficulties and find people who, like him, needed a voice. Carissa Reyes brings us another inspirational story of the Filipino people and the struggles they face.
In the heart of downtown Toronto, Mike Miranda, along with young Filipinos, honed their skills as artists at the Kapisanan Philippine Center. At 24 years old, Mike discovered that the pen is mightier than the sword. Born and raised in Canada, Mike journeyed near and far to understand his roots. He talks about being real and being creative to move forward. This is Mike.
My dad came here in '64. My grandfather, he worked for the World Health Organization as an environmental engineer, and that's why he was able to come to Canada before they loosened up immigration. It was the first full Filipino family to arrive to Ontario. So my dad was 12 years old, and my mother came when she was 18. When I was younger, I used to always get into a lot of fights, right? Because, they'd call me chink or Chinese or whatever. I'd say I'm Filipino, but they had no idea what that is, that's just a word. I'd get into fights, and then my friends beside me would be like, he's not Chinese, he's Filipino. And then someone else would say, he's not Filipino, he's Canadian. And then I'd be like so confused. As I started growing older, started asking what it means, because I'm calling myself Filipino, but I've never been to the Philippines.
After graduating from the University of Toronto, Mike traveled the Philippines.
We have the opportunity to go back where our ancestors were from, where our people who look like us, where our roots are.
For 6 weeks, Mike visited the slums rather than the malls.
Exactly what I did not want to do, right? Because then what's the point of going there and living with, the privileged 1%? I'd rather see the other 99. That was definitely one of the hardest days of my life. You put it in that box in your head where you have like the most difficult memories, When you're there in the Philippines and you see that, and you realize, because you see, these are people like me, and if my life means just as much as any other dude, then their life does too.
Upon his return to Toronto, Mike kick-started his quest to serve the community. First, tackling the social issues such as the identity crisis.
Identity is empowerment, because when you have identity and empowerment, it means you can assure yourself by yourself without anybody else, without depending on anyone else to acknowledge yourself. Everything is art. Everyone is attracted to art, and art rules the world. It rules consciousness. The one I've been focusing a lot more lately is spoken word, which is live poetry.
My fams got caught in the pipeline to prison. From broken homes to getting high in school, graduating to steel bars in a cage, where the only thing that makes sense is your mandatory labor. Savor the moment. My homegirl's still on
the biggest driving force would have to be understanding. Whenever I have an understanding about something, that's when I want to write it. Or whenever I have a feeling. It's like it's in my chest. I just need to get it out.
Mike meddled poetry and Filipino instruments such as the kulintang, injecting new and fresh sound.
The Santa Gorilla started at the Making Waves Festival with me and my boy JR, and then we've been adding people.
I mean, we're breaking ground. That's how I feel, especially using these very traditional indigenous musical instruments to push this sort of new sound and new rhythm, sort of tribal, sort of hip-hop, sort of everything, really.
The whole basis is like for us, by us, our own genre of music is what we're trying to create, which is Filipino, traditionally infused with us now, you know, and our generation, you know, kind of like updating it so that everyone else can get into it.
I think it's been able to build a strong foundation as to now him going into the community, performing at different events where the community actually can see him and hear what he has to say.
Soil the colons from a bolo, our bolo versus buns.
Let's be real now. The caregiver program is not just Canada and the Philippines. And it's not even just the Philippines, even though right now it is, you know, mass slavery from the
I may
Philippines.
feel it, but I may not know how to express it. So he's kind of that medium for a lot of Filipino Canadians who are from that generation where didn't really have that connection with being Filipino and understanding what the community is. So with that, I think that's something that's grown with him.
He brought people together to show, to set that example that we all can get together and we all have that same focus, and the direction is to just move forward.
And that's why I was trying to bring Soul Food together, so we could spark that recognition that Filipino identity is truly being proud of simply who you are.
And I have a daughter, and growing up for her now, she's being involved and seeing people like her uncle, which is Mike, and other friends and family members doing the same thing. I think that's a good example for the upcoming community and future.
What I stand for is the inherent belief in the equal opportunity of all human beings, you know, to dismantle the privilege.
I embrace a dangerous freedom. Have a happy mundane existence. Be scared of geopolitics. There are those who live through life, and there are those who live life. After every happening, the opinion is yours. The outcome is ours. Discover time.
We're back with Candace Leca, a Centennial student with a great voice and tons of talent. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. So what was it about the guitar that kind of got you to kind of sway towards that instrument more so than the other ones?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up around music, and after seeing my first concert and seeing my favorite artist up on stage, it just really inspired me to do that, and that's when I decided, like, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to write my own songs and play for other people.
That's cool. So have you always been a solo singer-songwriter, or did you ever want to be in a band, or have you ever been in a band before?
I was thinking about the whole band thing. I've tried playing with other band members, and just it's hard to rely on other people, so I decided to play solo for a while, and right now I'm trying to play with a new buddy of mine, Chris. He's great, so it's going really well right now.
That's cool. So the summer's coming up. Do you have any big plans? Any shows booked or CDs coming out?
I'll be recording next month, and I play at the Rivoli April 22nd, Johnny B's May 5th, and Trudeau Park, Tweed on May 2-4 weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That's cool. So you got a lot of stuff booked up, eh?
I do.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's hear something.
All right.
All right.
This song is called Our World. The sun rises 6 in the morning, and the light shining in your room at full. Rolling out of bed days and thinking of
this brand new day ahead of you. Skipping every other stair as you go down. Holding your hand everywhere, all the time, all around. Enjoying every moment when I'm with you. Love you, loving me, and me loving you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Staring in your eyes, knowing you're staring back. Side by side on the beach, holding your hand. When we've got confidence to pursue our goals. For the future, we're unstoppable. Looking at those pictures of us in my room. And those old greeting cards to me from you. I've still got every ticket to every movie we've seen. Zodiac, South 3, Jackass, number 23. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. When our world took a turn on us, and our world took a turn on us, oh, oh, oh. Woke up in the middle of the night, buttered my bread and drank my wine. See you one day, but not the next. Who was that girl you kissed? Thought it would be me and you, but it came down to this. Who knew? Thought it would be us in the end, but that's okay, 'cause I like your best friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. When our world took a turn on us, and our world took a turn on us, oh, oh, oh.
Wow, that was awesome, Candace.
Thank
That was
you.
sweet. Well, we have a lot in store for you next Thursday on episode 7. Here's a sneak peek at what's coming up. Good job.
So I went to see kids. They took her in, they kept monitoring her, and at about 11 weeks, they diagnosed her with biliary atresia.
It's hard finding an organ donor, so I just posted the same email that she sent to me on my Facebook.
I remember when I made the decision to be a donor, I told no one what I was going to do until I got word from the hospital saying that it's a go.
Thanks for watching the Journal this week. I'm Paul Hunsrow.
And I'm Sean O'Neill, and make sure if you missed any of our stories to check out YouTube or Centennial On Demand.
And once more, here's sweet sounds of Candace Leca. Take us out. Take it away.
The sky lips on her. He knows what he wants. The long, sleek brown hair on her. He knows what he wants. And he said goodbye. Yeah, he said goodbye.